Hi. I I think I'm gonna do the first part of the story of my stillbirth pregnancy, um, and the story of our daughter Emerson. Um, so let's see. I'm sure that a lot of you have watched the other videos, so I'm gonna try not to repeat myself too much, but I had a hard time getting pregnant with Emerson. Well, with my first two pregnancies, I was 18 and 28 when I had them. And I got pregnant on accident. I wasn't trying, I wasn't ready for a baby, but, we managed. And anyway, I just assumed that it wouldn't take any time at all when we actually wanted to get pregnant again. So we got married in 2012, and I wanted to start trying right away. My youngest daughter was 2. My husband said, we weren't financially ready. The insurance wasn't good. There was a lot of reasons he wasn't ready. So we waited and waited and waited. And so in 2014, we decided to try the end of the year. So anyway, long story short, we got pregnant finally on our own. I don't know why it took so long. I don't know if it was the HSG test. It was just pure luck. But we got pregnant in March, right around Easter. And I didn't know it, obviously. And being that I tried to conceive for 17 months, I was pretty much an expert temperature taker, and ovulation test taker. So I always have, little ovulation strips around, laying around somewhere. So we were going to Florida for spring break with the kids, and I left my thermometer at home on purpose. So I started the cycle off temping, and I temped up to 6 DPO, and my temperature was rising pretty good. And anyway, I stopped then. So I never really got to see what a chart would look like if I actually was pregnant. So, well, we got to Florida, and in our condo one night, I took a pregnancy test. Of course, I took those with me. I took a WANFO, and it was 9 DPO at night, and it came back very, 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 very faint. And I couldn't tell for sure, but the next morning it was darker. So we were super happy. The rest of the trip was pretty cool. We didn't tell the kids, obviously. So anyway, we told the kids in May. I think I was 8 weeks, and knowing that there's always a risk of a miscarriage, but just thinking it wouldn't happen. So we had, let's see, started feeling sick. One day I did end up in the ER. It was because I almost passed out while I was driving, and I've never passed out in my life. Now, I was 6 weeks then, so nobody knew except me and my husband. And they did an ultrasound, and they could see the baby, but not the heartbeat. But they weren't worried because it was only 6 weeks. So we had, let's see, our first real ultrasound was at 8 weeks and 4 days, and everything looked good. And then I was feeling sick. That pregnancy was rough. I didn't throw up, but I sure could have. I couldn't make dinner forever. I laid around a lot. I was really tired. I don't know why, more so with this pregnancy than with like my first two, maybe because I'm older. Anyway, let's see. The stuffiness. My nose was always stuffy, and I had a headache almost every day, which the doctor said is pretty normal from the progesterone increase. So he said it usually goes around 20 weeks. It usually goes away. And he was right. 20 weeks went away pretty much on the dot. We had our big ultrasound at 20 weeks. We decided not to find out the gender because we really don't care or didn't care. And we took our younger daughter with, and everything looked great. The baby was bouncing all over the place, but there was a cyst on the placenta, big black hole. I said, well, I noticed it right away, and she said, oh, it looks like like a cyst, but that's usually not a concern in a pregnancy at this point, at 20 weeks. So the doctor, he's been my doctor for years, and he knew how I felt and how nervous I get. So he said he would send me to the maternal fetal specialist at Hurley then in a week. So I had an appointment for the next week, and I had to cancel it. And then I had to reschedule it for the next week, and I never made it to that appointment. But they were just going to look at it and see if they thought it was anything. So back to the pregnancy, I never bought very much. I started buying diapers every time I went grocery shopping, and wipes. So I have like a stash of those. My friend from work gave me some blankets. But other than that, we really didn't have much for the baby. Because I don't know, like, I think just because it took us so long, I always felt like I shouldn't, and we didn't know what it was. So, buying clothes wasn't really much of an option. I'm trying to think. Oh, there was some symptoms I had toward the end that I look back on and think I should have paid attention. Now my feet were huge, and my feet don't usually swell like that until later on in the pregnancy. And I was only 21 weeks, and my feet were enormous. Purple looking. Now I mentioned it to the doctor, and they said, really not a big deal unless you have high blood pressure, which I didn't, or swollen hands or face, which I didn't. So it was very uncomfortable, but I tried to let it go. I know, I want to say it was about a week before everything went bad. I had some mucus. It's too much information maybe, but we are telling a story here. So like a thick mucus, like almost like a mucus plug, come out. And I remember thinking that was strange because I don't remember having that with either of my other kids. But I didn't mention it to the doctor. And I don't know, now that everything's happened the way, I think that was probably my mucus plug coming out. So I'm going to end this here because it's getting longer than I wanted it to. And I think Thursday I will make another post about the actual ordeal and how it went, how it happened, and what happened. So, all right, I will make another post in 2 days.